the calling of the mystic, awakening in the flowering of the heart. Everybody here.
Adam T. Gardner here with the humanaccelerator.org, building America's medicine wheels. This week's show begins a 4-part series that centers around the January issue in the year 2019 of National Geographic. It's called The Future of Medicine. It's so important to us that we get this content in. We're going to go without commercial breaks, and right now we want to just join your host, Deborah Bruin-Tout. She's a singer, songwriter, mother, and she's already got Adam T. on the show. So here you go.
I'm just thrilled to have you, Adam, and I get to have you all the time. I just love you, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, you know, when I was at the mechanics shop having the 2004 Denali that I've got checked out, the computer was starting to act up on it. It's been a great truck, but right there on the counter was the National Geographic magazine, and I looked at it, said The Future of Medicine. Well, I knew instantly what it's going to be all about, because I understand this rhetoric that continually comes out of the Western science model, Western medicine model, that is just such an enormous economy of $3.5 trillion.
$3.5 trillion.
Yeah, so, you know, I said to the guy, gosh, could I borrow that? And he says, well, I'm just trying to give away on National Geographic. You're welcome to have it. I used to subscribe to National Geographic.
So did I,
and that was back in the day before they had their own channel and all that kind of stuff. And they've got a history of having a tremendous amount of integrity.
Yes.
Of revealing the truth. Kind of like a PBS, if you will. They've been, so to speak, non-profit since their origins.
I grew up with it on our coffee table every month,
right.
You know, every issue as a young girl.
Yeah, and it opened up the world to us all, and now it's evolved into, well, whatever it is today. I don't subscribe to the National Geographic Channel. You know, I've got a life to live, and
you're very busy in America's medicine wheels and a lot of other things that we're discussing today.
But when I saw this issue, it's like I couldn't stay quiet about it.
No,
you know, it's going to be a show, and I may do like the next 4 shows, just all on this magazine, to try to contrast so that people can truly have an experience of what I'm saying is the Human Accelerator. You've got to slow down. You can't, in this fast-paced world, with so much knowledge pouring into the minds of mankind, we get carried away in all of that. What's the next, you know, video game that's going to keep my attention for forever? The next gadget that is going to entertain my life. This is something very serious. It's serious, especially in this country. Our even we call it health care, but it's deteriorated to the point where we're ranked among third world countries in terms of sickness and disease.
Because we're not really focusing on what you're going to be talking and sharing, what would be the optimum health, and going in a direction like what these shows are about.
Well, you know, but it's like the elephant
in the room,
right?
We say that. Let's take a bite of it today on this show.
This is not a effalump.
No.
Or a woozle.
Or a woozle.
It is truly
Thank you, Winnie
an
the
enormous elephant that's doing a lot of damage because the room's pretty small, and it has no space to go. So
And it
this
can be
elephant-
overwhelming, but we can, it can, I'd say myths, looking at them and just dissolving them. And that's what we're doing today.
Elephant is a metaphor, right?
It is, right?
Well, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to me? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the elephant in the room is the massive failure of Western science and Western medicine.
Thank you for sharing that.
They both go hand in hand. In one of the videos on the front page, toward the bottom, I make this statement about midway through a 9-minute video. I say, people come to this country from all over the world to learn things that can only be taught here because we're advancing at such high paces. But from kindergarten till 4 years of college, we are never taught how to live a life free of sickness and disease.
Right.
All this massive intelligence, putting men on the moon. We're talking about going to Mars. I mean, the discoveries in biology are just really intense. With now, with the human genome's been mapped out, they've mechanically figured out how to make parasites out of human cells and put them back in your body. This is technology that is really immoral. And man is playing. He's been playing God for quite a while, especially since the atomic bomb was made. But the bottom line here is there's nothing more intimate than our own joy, our own vitality.
I really like what you're saying.
Our own peace of mind. And likewise...
That's very intimate indeed.
Well, likewise, it's a definition through our own experience of what it is to be human. This human existence is, in this age, I mean, it's a second Genesis awakening age, unlike any other age before it. And that's what these radio shows are about. That's what America's Medicine Wheels is about, is to really get America to slow down and realize that Mother Nature is beyond the comprehension of mankind. Man has got little glimpses into it, and what does he do?
It could be very fragmented.
What did he create? He created a parasite in the CRISPR technology.
Right.
A parasite to go in and they're telling us these cells are gonna be these search out and destroy cancer cells. And it's like, well, Mother Nature's already created it.
Say that again. Mother Nature.
Mother Nature has already created it.
And I want to hear it again. I'm crazy like that, but one more time. Mother Nature has already created it. Thank you.
Yeah. Back when I became a plant-based human, one of the first things I realized is that I was swallowing life.
Wow.
I mean, I was just total junk food,
Right.
meat 3 times a day, getting all gunked up inside.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, my health failed in a real serious way with colitis and a growth in my colon and then all this trouble in my lower back and on. And all they could say was, well, we're going to have to cut you open and go inside and see what we can do. And I'm like freaking out. How stupid is this? This was my first adventure into Western medicine. Knows nothing about the root causes of things, and they know nothing about the cures, even though they like to use that word repeatedly in this magazine.
So that's why I like what you say, is to slow down and that with ourselves, because the bottom line is that we can have a life free of sickness and disease when we slow down and realize what the discovery is of Mother Nature.
Yeah, so I'd like to, if the listeners' permission here, I'd like to just go into the magazine and read some of it.
Well, we're inviting you in, everyone.
And then talk about what they're saying and how methodical and...
quite a conversation.
Well, there is a whole mindset there that's very, very dark. That's not in the truth. It's in a lie. And it keeps selling the public this lie over and over and over again, running into the $3.5–4 trillion type annual cost. We're all starving to death. We can't get any real increase in our wages. We got third world countries competing with us. So, this country was made to break through into a light of what we are as humans and how to live a life free of sickness and disease. And this is what I want to get to, is it's a marriage of something very, very ancient. I don't even want to go into how ancient this is, coming full circle into science. Because for all what I consider dogma and faults and lies of Western science, they are revealing some very ancient things, that these things exist. So, with that kind of insight, it helps validate, here's a juice for you made from romaine lettuce and kale, some carrots.
I'm really glad
apple,
you're talking about that, yes.
All organic. There is no way man can ever create the life that's in that drink. It's delicious to the taste. It's wired into the body genetically. You don't even have to have a liver in order for this stuff to go into your bloodstream and into your cells. That's how powerful it is when I say it's genetically wired into us.
It knows that it's a healing, that food is medicine, and it knows
Something
exactly
as
automatically where to go in the body.
Something
it's
just as simple as that. Romaine lettuce and that kind of stuff,
thing.
right? And science.
Well, that's what you eat and drink
science
most of the time.
continues to tell us that
over 30 years.
Science continues to tell us that we're broken, we're broken, we're broken. Well, what are they really saying?
What are they?
They're really saying, and this is the truth, a truth whose time has come.
Okay.
Mankind was meant to live a life free of sickness and disease.
Okay, so that really is a total opposite of where we're headed, in this kind of a model.
They're never going to be the savior.
No.
Of that.
They're never meant to be.
They're projecting themselves as the deliverer of mankind.
Very good.
To its ultimate state of living free of sickness and disease. They're not saying it like that. They're very subconsciously, for decades now, put into the mind of man, you're not supposed to be sick and diseased. You're supposed to be full of joy.
Yeah, it really is.
You're supposed to have peace.
A time of a turnaround, and that's why I like talking about the passion here that I'm feeling and feel from you about this genetically wired for a human walk, and this human walk is what we're going to be discussing. The opposite is into medicines that they're saying is our future. Yeah.
So the opening, they call this a special issue. And, it's a special issue because big pharmacy has paid for the whole thing.
Okay.
And big pharmacies now calling themselves biopharmaceuticals. This is what I was trying to say when I kind of got diverted, was at the very beginnings, I saw that I was swallowing life, and that Western medicine was nothing but death, nothing but horrible chemicals, nothing but extracts. Maybe some of them came from the plant kingdom, but they were dead and lifeless at that point. And with that knowledge now,
and we're all biochemicals, so wow.
Well, you say biochemical, but if we're throwing nothing but man-made extracts and chemicals into us, that's not bio. See, that's not life. That's what the word bio means, is life. And I said to a friend, I says, pharmaceutical companies are very soon going to start using this language, and it's going to be just more of the continuation of lies. And so this whole magazine's been financed by biopharmaceuticals, all right? And it's really been financed by Bayer. Out of the UK, big pharmaceutical